we start saying, let's, put this, or think about this in this part of the building and so forth. There were a lot of really good ideas out of the community meetings, a lot that have to do with maybe a training center or sections that could be used as training centers. And we have to make sure that we know when we make suggestions about these things that things like that would be open to the public. And we have to continue to remember that we're right there by the high school, and that our admin offices would be in that building.
So those types of things we keep into consideration
when we think about who else we might could bring in. Because I have no doubt we could probably rent space, but who would rent to do that sort of thing. And I know you're all aware of that. But after school programs, those types of things are in the discussions. But I think we had our first mask-to-mask meeting last week, and we look forward to really getting this ball rolling again and continuing to have those meetings so we can really start tightening this stuff up. And I did tour with our new superintendent last week. Was it last week? And maybe this week. And we did tour the building, and thankfully our architect was able to tour with me, and we gave him a good sense of the history of the building. He was very impressed with the building itself, of course, but I think I just shared some of the possibilities, but not really going into any detail because we're not there yet. But we're going to start moving rather quickly.
Well, Ms. Lively, first I want to thank you and for letting us know about the organizations who are considering everything. And then I heard you say that the top priority, you say of everything, you have heard people say that it should be used for the administration. And in your talking, maybe when the Mr. Pulaski comes on board, it can be discussed. We, as a district, we can only be in this building for the next 2 years, and then we have nowhere to go. So once the board maybe can get together, that was, and I have to give it a little history. That was the initial plan, that we moved, the administration moved to Old Main. But because of finances that we had to make Lakewood as equitable as the other schools, we had to take $8 million. And then at the cost, we couldn't take money because teachers needed salaries. And so at this time, it's going to have to be something, and I hope you will support us in this, as whatever the board decides, and we get a chance to meet, that we can sit down. That's my opinion. And what I will do now, as I always do, Ms. Lively, I will call each board member's name to let them say personally what they think. That was just my thought, okay? And so at this time, Ms. Campbell, go ahead. What are your concerns? Unmute. She'll be on in just a moment, Ms. Lively.
Thank you.
That building is old, but we're gonna have to be real careful about what we do, because a lot of stuff over there is real fragile. And that first floor is probably one of the most beautiful floors you've ever seen. And then down in the basement of the floor, there's a big room down there that could hold 100 and something kids. It just needs to be worked, and it's gonna take time, and it's gonna take money.
Okay, Ms. Huggins.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to thank Ms. Lively and the task force for all the work they've done, continuing through all the problems we've had over the last 6 months. Exciting to hear that Pulaski Tech is interested, and because I already have an MOU with them anyway. and that would just extend our relationship with them. And I like that nobody in the community wants to see that building go away.
And it won't.
Okay, Dr. Redis?
Ditto everything that was said. I'm excited, of course, even though I don't work there anymore. I'm excited that Plastic Tech wants to partner with us, continue a partnership with us. And thank you, committee, for everything that you've done.
Thank you. Ms. Temple?
And I'm with everybody else. Thank you for all the hard work and look forward to seeing us be able to do something with that building.
Okay, Ms. Walker?
Time is money. Money is time. Time to move on it. What? Ready to get something done. We are ticking away.
Yep.
And Ms. Lively, would you do the board a favor too? I would like to hear about the gentleman who you said could write grants, you know,
He
for
works for the
older
city.
facilities. And I've forgotten his name, but I was in a meeting with you, but I'm sure you'll come up with it because you take excellent notes. And I didn't know if he was part of the history commission.
He works
I
for the
believe
city,
he-
doesn't he, Paula?
I will go back through my notes.
There have been
Several people to reach out to us about helping us on that end, but I will go back through those notes.
Okay, Dr. McGee, do you have any comments?
No, I just want to take this opportunity to thank the committee. We did have a face-to-face meeting last week, and I thought it went extremely well. They've done a remarkable job in planning and working. So I just want to say thank you, committee, and thank you, Ms. Lively, for your work.
Okay, Ms. Lively, and again, as a board, I want to say thank you. And initially, when we officially, I'm glad that you've been doing what you've been doing. And you did give Mr. Pulaski an opportunity to tour the building with the architect. And I thank you very much for that. And then so that I hope you stay focused, that we can stay focused and we can work together and do the right things for the task force for Old Main High School. And thank you again. Do you have any last closing remarks, Mrs. Lively?
No, ma'am, I will continue to reach out to the team. We'll forge ahead. And if any of you ever have any questions, you know my email address. I've spoken with many of you already. Let's just move this along.
Okay, and thank you for your hard work. Thank you again. Okay, at this time, we will have an update on security by Mr. Williams, who's safety coordinator. Mr. Williams, unmute.
Yes, indeed. I'm sharing my screen with you now in reference to the PowerPoint that I'm providing.
Okay.
Board president and board members, this is a PowerPoint that we're providing for school safety and supervision. We happen to be a part of safety and supervision in the Northwest School District. I would ask the other day or so to provide.
Thank you, Paula.
Provide information in reference to school safety. We have 17 campus supervisors at the high school. We have 15 daytime campus supervisors and 2 nighttime campus supervisors. We moved 2 daytime campus supervisors this year to the night schedule. That helps us to be able to protect our buildings at night, to monitor buildings as well as the alarm system. We learned that we had several individuals who moved into our school buses, broke into our schools, or there were a dog fight on one of our campuses at night. And so we tried to move personnel around to be able to address those issues. And so we have 2 night campus supervisors. One worked a shift from 3 p.m. to 12 at night, and then the other one worked from 9 p.m. to 6 in the morning. That allows us to keep all our school buildings safe and address the situation.
What section is this? The middle school section?
The middle school section is 7, 8. Last year there were 8 full-time campus supervisors. This year, we moved a full-time camp supervisor to 7th Street Elementary to address those constant need there. And then we are hiring 2 part-time camp supervisors to fill the full-time camp supervisor position at 7th and 8th grade, which we moved from the 7th grade campus.
Okay, before you move from that, there was a question, Ms. Campbell. You had a question?
One of the questions that I've got is, are they working without being the supervisors, or are they just there at certain times?
I can't not hear her. I'm sorry. Say it again, please.
He's muted.
Okay.
Turn your minds up.
Okay.
Say it again, please.
My question was, are they there all the time, or are they just working part of the day?
The full-time camp supervisor are there all of the time. Part-time camp supervisor work 5 hours a day at the elementary school and middle school as well. And then they help with after-school activities.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Huggins? Ms. Huggins? Dr. Reddish?
Sorry, I didn't unmute properly. The part-time supervisors that are at the elementary campuses, so do you have one that does like the morning hours and then the other one does the afternoon hours?
They overlap during the lunchtime. And yes, that's pretty much the schedule, but they overlap during the lunchtime.
So why does 7th Street want to just have one?
Well, we've had several part-time campus supervisors at 7th Street since we started this situation. And then, and those part-time people have taken on full-time position. And Dr. White just requested, since he had both vacancies, that we would convert it to a full-time position. But rather than do that and then changing the benefit property situation, we moved a camp supervisor from the 7th, 8th grade campus to the 7th Street campus, who would probably in a better situation working with elementary kids. And then we'd be able to help the 7th, 8th grade as well as 6th grade campus with the extra body personnel. So that's what we're trying to do right now.
And also, Madam President and members of the board, let me jump in here. We also have 2 SROs, 2 additional SROs with the city of North Little Rock that actually floats to the elementary schools specifically. They try to devote their time into those elementary schools going by to help out there, and they're there. They're kind of on a rotation basis.
Okay. Dr. Reddish.
I just have one. If we put a full-time person on the elementary level, what happens if that campus supervisor can't be there?
The same thing that happened with when any personnel is out. We'll try to aid and assist schools with personnel. We'll try to, especially at the high school, we've had some sub people who can fill into those positions, and so we try to do those same things.
Well, what I'm saying, because I'm a visual person, on the high school level, there's not a problem because you guys 17. But on the elementary, if you have a daytime campus supervisor and an evening campus supervisor, if you eliminate it and make it one, that means if that one person is leaving, is somebody going to come over and sub for them? Whereas right now, if one of them don't show up, it's okay. You got another one coming in. Well, it makes sense.
Actually, Dr. Reddish, if one person doesn't show up, you probably got about 4 hours or so there of someone being out. So what we try to do is that we try to utilize, that's why one of the reasons we moved away from just having camp supervisor and personnel assigned to a particular school. And we have camp supervisors as camp supervisors for safe school. So we can move and help people out in those situations.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Temple.
Can you tell me more, just like a job description of the campus supervisor? We talk about the campus supervisors all the time, and I have a vague understanding of what they do. Can you, it sounds like it's going to be different with elementary and secondary, but.
Yes, ma'am. The campus supervisor primary responsibility is to aid and assist students in every faction of the school. They may do anything from covering a classroom, covering in-school suspension, help kids in the bus line, work on a crosswalk, help kids in the cafeteria, especially for the smaller kids, help them carry a tray, sit in a one-on-one situation. So they have a very, the total responsibility is monitoring and supervising students from point they get off the bus to the point they get back on the bus. So they work the bus stop, the whole thing. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Walker?
So if I heard you correctly, a campus supervisor is a role model. I mean, honestly, they are helping shape the lives, correct, of our students who may need a male figure or a female figure at the time. Is that?
Yeah. The campus supervisors are usually the first person in the school that come in contact with students, and like all educators in the school, they are play a major role in helping kids be successful.
Okay, great. Follow-up question. Explain to me the 2 night supervisors. It says here the work shifts from 3:30 to midnight, 9:30 to 6. Help me understand that.
Okay. So what we found out in North Rock School District, unlike all of the neighboring school districts around, we don't have anyone to monitor our school per se, the building interior or the exterior during the course of the night. And so what this allows us to do is that we provided a code that allows the camera system to pick up every camera in the school and allow these individuals who are working in this situation to monitor exteriorly and interiorly any situation that may be going on in the school. Also, they can monitor where doors are open and propped open, and where doors are open or people get into buses. And so as a result, we're actually work with transportation so that all buses would go back to the pound at the end of the day, because we found that we had individuals going in our buses at night. We were able to work with the police department because there were individuals who were using the elementary school ground to fight dogs. And so we're able to address that situation. And we'll just be able to address a lot of situations by allowing these individuals to be there at night, all night long. In addition to that, we have several burglar alarm situations that we've been able to address. And then we have an individual who will address it on the weekend only.
Madam President and members of the board, let me also add, this is also allow us to, number one, use the human capital that we currently have without hiring any new ones. So we're able to spread them around and be able to cover more of our property. So this is why we went to this model, and it actually cost saving the district because we're spending a lot of money in overtime. I don't have the rough numbers for you in front of me, but I can get them when Mr. Brown returns. But I can tell you, for example, we spent a little bit over $40,000 in overtime only. So that's overtime only. And that's just to cover these things. This allowed the district just to use the human capital that we currently already have on our in our budget, operating budget.
We also saved several $1,000s with inter-office mail by allowing campus supervisors to run that port as well, and then helping us cover those alarm systems during the week has been a tremendous help in saving the funds.
Okay, Mr. Williams, tell me then, when the alarms go off at night, who goes and look after those alarms when the police call?
The campus supervisor that is scheduled for the night shift. We hadn't had alarm calls very much during the week lately, but those campus supervisors who are scheduled for the night shift are responsible for that.
Okay, and you say you have someone on the weekend?
Yes, ma'am. The district has a individual who covers that. Mr. Carvin covers that on weekends from Friday night to Monday morning.
Well, tell me this, Dr. McGee. not, I guess I could be calling you Dr. McGee, but Mr. Williams, I'm concerned if you got people in the building, have they fixed those codes on the high school yet?
No, ma'am.
For the building where it can be locked and people just can't walk in with a tag where you need the codes? Because I assume that maybe the cameras was for you doing Old Main to, our campus over there to look around. When are the doors broke over there? What is the problem?
Are you referring to the old main building?
I'm referring to our new building, sir.
No, the new building is fine. If you have a badge, you can badge into the new building. What we learned though is that, especially we took several pictures from the night crew, that we had individuals who would prop doors open and then forget to unprop those doors, and it opened the school up to the public.
Oh, but what I'm saying, Mr. Williams, that's what I'm saying. If a person can use their badge to go to the door, when all you have to do is have a code lock on the door, like code, like if I break through this door, the alarms go off. But when anybody can get a badge from a teacher, a child could have a badge and just walk through the door. That's what I'm talking about. Is anything wrong with the system that we have up there on that new building that have not been addressed? My understanding, we've been talking about this for 2 years. When is gonna fix the code? Is it broken or do we need to call Genesis? That's what I'm talking about. I just don't want to see people using a badge and walking through that building. That's what I'm saying.
The teacher badge are programmed to 9 o'clock. And so after 9 o'clock, all teacher badges are cut off. But what you make reference to is the alarm system. Now we're working on the alarm system at the high school because, and that's in my presentation as well, because I was given the alarm system in September of this year. And so we met with the individuals who run the alarm system. They provided a quote for $12,500 to fix the alarm system in 2019, the student service, but no one has moved on it yet. And so when it was given to me, Dr. McGee put me in charge of it in September. I met with the company. They have to redo the quote and go back through the process. And so we should have that taken care of pretty soon, where we put an alarm system in, because right now, you're right, Dr. Williams, the alarm system at the high school is inadequate.
Well, thank you. I thought since you were security, and I apologize because I thought that came under your watch.
No.
That we should have had that in place, and whoever had the watch, they dropped the ball, because only thing that I'm saying, it's too much in that building up there.
Yes, ma'am.
It's too much, and we can't take that lightly in any kind of way.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Madam President.
Yes, sir, Dr. McGee. I know you got that. So come on with it.
If I may, our safety coordinator is correct. When I found out he was not under, the alarm was not under his auspices, I moved that because I believe it needs to be up under him as the safety coordinator. We are addressing that, and it's already been addressed in terms of it should be repaired at the high school, including Old Main. That should be repaired in terms of the alarm system very soon. That is one thing that I wanted Mr. Williams, and I personally walked over there with him to address those alarm systems and get those wirings fixed. Somehow the wires got twisted, and I can't answer that because that was before my time, and that was before Mr. Williams was over it. We're trying to address it and to fix that situation right now.
Okay, thank you, Dr. McGee, for that statement. It's just been a concern. Now I'm gonna ask you this, you may not know this, Dr. McGee, but when they built that building, was this a part of the program? You know what I'm saying, or who was responsible for that?
I would assume, if I had to guess, I would assume that that should have been a part of the program. I was informed that at one point, the alarm was working, but whoever built the building, the wiring was on. That's what I was informed, and I don't know if that to be valid. I just directed Mr. Williams to get it fixed.
Well, what did the Genesis Have you heard, to your knowledge, Mr. Williams, about the Genesis company being over our security?
No, no, ma'am. Genesis is not over the security. Actually, the security company is a different company, and that's out of Cabot that the district has acquired. There's about, I've learned since I've taken over this responsibility that there are pretty much about 3 or 4 different companies that's doing things for us that we may have to look at consolidating some things and put them under one umbrella. And that's kind of the difficulty that we have, that there are more than one company, and the company that we require, some of them have changed their name. And so trying to get them to fix things is difficult. And so we're working on it. And I just spoke with the company just the other day and explained to them that if we can't get to where we want, then we'll find somewhere else to get what we want out of this situation. So we know that the high school has to be secured. We know that the alarm system needs to work, and it needs to work in an adequate way. The system now doesn't talk to each other. It's really a bad system. And so for $12,500 or so, we can fix this. This should have been fixed, I don't know how long ago, but we will get it taken care of.
And that's exactly what I was informed. I know, Ms. Walker, you got your hand up, so I'll let you come. But that's what I was informed, Ms. Williams, and
Okay.
members, that there were 2 set alarms at their high school. They had 2 different set alarm systems, and we no longer have the old alarm system. So that's why part of that building is not up on the, is not covered with the alarms. I'm sorry, Ms. Walker, go ahead.
It's okay. I'm listening. I'm learning as you're talking about it. So for my understanding then, for clarification, we have an alarm system and we have a door pass, and they are 2 separate. They're not one and the same.
Well,
So
let me tell you what I was, the way that it was explained to me, okay?
okay.
The high school had 2 different alarms systems. The one was controlled by the old panel.
Okay.
And one is controlled by the new panel, which is where Genesis come in here and they install all of that. Not Genesis, but the new alarm company came and installed. That's why part of the high school was not covered.
You have to separate the door system from the security system. The door surveillance system is a different system and a different idea than the security system, alarm system that is at the high school. And what happened is that when they built the new high school, the old alarm system for the gym and for the new gym, all those things are all different systems than the high school system. And then the high school system was separated without being connected. And so as a result, you were set the alarm off in any building if you tied in now. So they got to tie all those things together and then put panels so that either way you come in, if you have your code, you can offset the system. And so that's what we're working on. And that's we're trying to make that building wide so that if an administrator or anyone comes in the building, they have a code, they can turn the building off. And they can also not only turn the building off completely, but they can also turn off for their section, so that way they can turn that area off and still be, the building will still be on, or if the administrator needed to, they cut the whole building off. So that's kind of thing that we're working on right now.
Okay, any other comments from board members before we leave this page?
Say, Dottie, it's been going on for 2 years and it was supposed to be fixed 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I'm going to jump ahead. This system that you're fixing present to us, the 12,000, this panel, is it going to mesh the 2 systems? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, that's really the bottom line outcome of it. The alteration is that everything will be tied in and it'll work like it's supposed to work.
Okay, so bottom line.
But now I need to tell you this, excuse me, that quote of 12.5 is a quote that they received a year or so ago. So you know that the quote is going to be a little bit more now because they didn't fix it when they originally received the quote.
Okay, so you're going to bring us a fresh
Yes,
quote before.
I've asked for it already. Yes,
but
ma'am.
this is the ballpark, and this will mesh the 2 systems together. So someone who uses their pass key or gives it to their child to play basketball after hours, that's going to cut that out, correct?
Well, what it would do,
okay, go through it. I'm sorry.
let me see if I can answer that. What it would do, the alarm would trigger.
Yes,
Now, that's what, and so now, and what Mr. Williams saying, you will now have sections because the high school is too big. He'll have the principals and administrators will have sections. Just like when we come in here, I come in to work in the morning, I can hit this alarm panel and put in my code and disarm the alarm. That's what we'll be able to do now. So what we're trying to get is to get that quote, get the building properly alarmed in sections like it should be, and the principal will have the opportunity to alarm the whole building, or alarm or arm his section or disarm his section, or vice versa.
Okay, so moving forward, when Dr. Paluski gets here, Dr. McGee, would you and he sit down and speak about maybe restructuring what needs to happen, who needs to have control of what? Sounds like too many irons are in the fire and we need to secure our, batten down the hatches, if you will.
We are already on that.
Perfect.
So we're kind of already ahead. We are on that. So we kind of working that out now. And so when you get here on board on November the 1st, he'll make that presentation and then.
Good deal. Good deal. Thank you.
Okay. One other question, Mr. Williams. Now you say that on number D, the work hours from 3:30 to 12 at night and from 9:30 p.m. to 6 a.m. You telling me those were not new hires? These were transfers?
Yes, they were moved from, they wasn't transferred, they were moved from day schedule to night schedule.
That's what I'm asking you, so clarity.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you remove somebody at night that was doing it, understand me, and then you're gonna hire 2 people at night, those were questions being asked by some of the other persons. But I just wanted to make sure
we didn't hire new people for
clarity, that you weren't removing a person at night so that you could hire 2 people, because that, to me, that didn't make sense at all.
No, ma'am.
And I'm glad you were clearing that up for me, sir. And by the way, Mr. Williams, our only recommendation from the board, so you can clearly understand, so that we won't have to have extra talk and people calling Dr. McGee and Mr. Pulaski. If you ever transfer, have Dr. Smith to do it the same way he does the other classified people. If you're moving them from night shift to day shift, to me, that still is a transfer from one position, to another. But that way it's confusing. We don't have to have the conversation. And that's very simple for you to do, because you have moved a lot of people in your previous reports that you gave us.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you do that in the future,
yes, ma'am,
that will help us stay abreast, and we won't have too many questions, okay?
No problem. I take care of that. No problem.
Okay, thank you. You can proceed to the next page if there are no further questions.
Thank you. Before you do, since we're still on the responsibilities, can you real briefly squash the murmuring, I guess you could say? I did not see the Facebook post. So my thing is, can you explain, as part of the responsibilities of the campus supervisors, are they supposed to sub instead of being in the hallway securing? Are they supposed to sub? Because what's on Facebook right now is that campus supervisors are refusing to sub.
Campus supervisors have not refused to sub at all. And I know that someone made that statement, but we have documentation from the administrative team that there have been no refusal for campus supervisors to sub in classes. And yes, subbing in a class is a part of the campus supervisor responsibility. We ask that only in situation where we don't have any other options that we do that, because it takes supervision away in the hallway, takes supervision away in the cafeteria, takes supervision in way of areas that are created chaotic areas. And so we really ask the principal not to do that, only when it is extremely necessary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You may proceed, Mr. Williams.
I got about 12 slides, and I think we're talking about most of those. This is the slide in reference to the plan for campus supervisors for 2021. at the sixth grade campus. There were 3 campus supervisors. We had 1 vacancy. We're now hired a new vacancy at the field that vacancy right at the sixth grade campus, and we're going to use those 2 part-time personnel to aid and assist at the sixth grade campus. The other one is elementary. It's for our elementary students. We have campus supervisor. There are 2 at every school. We have some vacancies. We're working diligently to fill those vacancies at the elementary schools right now. And then, of course, campus supervisors are doing extra things from the elementary level. They work all of the home games, all the home football games, basketball games, and after school event plays and all those things. They cover those things. And what that does, that saves us about 40,000 or so in overtime. And so that helps us out tremendously. Well, actually, it saves a whole lot more than 40,000 the year that we put it in. And so we're trying to make sure that we're saving funds that way. They also help in scanning, and they also help in the new COVID situation that we have with the COVID measures, trying to make sure that we meet
Any questions?
needs of
You may proceed.
students and staff.
You may proceed.
All right. And then we get to our emergency drills. Thank you. Can you not hear me? Okay, so we do our emergency drills. And okay, so we do 5 drills, tornado drill, earthquake drill, all our severe weather drills. All drills would be announced on the system. We use alarm system for those drills. We're making sure that we're being safe. We do active shooter drills. We are following the state law, and these are the state mandates as it relates to emergency drill. We have fire, which is 12-13-109, tornado, which is 16-12, lockdown is 16-301. 1303 rather, and an active shooter was 615-1303. They require 1 active shooter drill a year. We do 4, 1 every quarter. That helps us with our kids. They also require 1 lockdown per semester, and we're doing 2. So we those things we meet the need, and then exceeding the mandate of the law to make sure that we have a safe school and our kids are getting what they need to be successful and come with emergency drill. And so we talked about safe school having a single point entry that the kids and staff getting. And so we're monitoring the hall and making sure that anybody that's in the building has a badge. And this is the guideline in reference to badges. I was asked the other day to work with the principals and the executive director to make sure that in our secondary school, that all students have student identification. I'll start doing that. That's something new for me. But I talked with Dr. White to talk about making sure every kid has a student ID.
Now, on these
we
badges,
provided 1,350 plus ID for employees, staff identity.
Mr. Williams, I got a concern on these badges now. Let's make this clear. You say the principals are responsible for like the high school. I was told the other day, a parent called me and said her niece went to school up there at the West campus with her cousin. I said, well, where did they go? She said, well, they don't have no badges. She just hung around the restroom and hung out. And when she come out, they go to lunch together. That needs to cease and desist. I don't know who's responsible, Dr. McGee, but somebody needs to tell the high school, anybody can walk in there, anybody. And it's so dangerous right now. So what do? We talk about it. Are we going to request that it's done expeditiously? Are we going to just wait till the principal gets ready to do it? Because I thought, and understand me, Mr. Williams, I thought that you were over the badges because you are security. That was my mistake, okay? And forgive me.
Madam President, we can, I would definitely work with the directors, make sure this get addressed immediately, and also making sure that all students are wearing their ID badges at all campuses. I'm not sure if elementary, I don't think I've seen elementary kids wear ID badges, but 6 through 12, they will make sure that they wear their badges. I visit schools again today, and for the most part, at the high school, every kid that I've seen had ID badges on, wearing across their neck. But we would definitely address this first thing in the morning.
Okay, thank you. Are there questions from board members? Ms. Walker?
One more, if you don't mind. So the security system, the alarm system, and then the fire system are all 3 separate systems?
I think its connection is kind of bad, but yes, ma'am, Ms. Walker, they are separate.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so is the same, do all 3 of those get reported to the same person, or is that what we're trying to?
They're all separate systems.
Okay, so they're all separate system, but do we not?
At this point, they're all separate systems. At this point, we're just now, because I had the door system, the surveillance system. And so Dr. McGee just in September told me about the alarm system. And we've just had some discussion in reference to the fire system. We have not picked it up in safe school yet. That is a maintenance responsibility.
Okay.
Clear? Do you want to hear me?
I think your connection is bad, Mr. Williams. So your connection.
It is a bad connection, but we'll talk more.
So let me try to see if I can chime in. Yes, Ms. Walker, there are 3 different systems. What we will try to do is to make sure that we all collaborate. For example, the fire alarm maintenance department was kind of handling that, but we can make sure that we all keep in communication on those systems. Because at the end of the day, Mr. Williams still they have to be recorded into the state in the e-school and uploaded that we are doing all of our emergency drills. And we have drills each month that the state will pull to make sure that we did compliance. And what we are doing is taking it a step further and making sure that we're going to go over as a district team. We're going to have responsibility for each of these schools to make sure that our role when these drills and things that take place going forward.
And so I've asked every administrator to send me a date and time when they're going to do that drill, and then I'll try to get by the school to view what they're doing as far as it relates to drills. And so we'll try to work that situation. And then I've met with Andy in reference to the fire system, talked with Mr. Stone in reference to the alarm system, and met with Genesis, of course, in reference to the surveillance system. And so we're trying to get all those things under one umbrella so that there won't be so much disconnect.
Okay, well, Mr. Williams, I would like for you to give us a follow-up report on the 15th of how much progress was made, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
We did get to the alarm system. It was never changed because we gotten through with the badges, and that's why Ms. Walker went to the alarm system, because that was one of your final sheets, but you were having a poor connection, and that's why Dr. McGee came in, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay,
think that—
board members, Senator Campbell, do you have anything else to Ms. Campbell, I'm sorry, have anything else to say to Mr. Williams?
All 3 systems to work together. That's all we want.
You know, that's what we're working to do right now, to bring everything under one umbrella, because it's always been separate, and that's a difficulty.
Okay, Ms. Huggins?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, Dr. Reddish?
I'm good.
Okay, Ms. Temple?
I'm good too.
Ms. Walker?
I'm okay.
Okay, Mr. Williams, everybody's okay, but we will expect a follow-up report from you
Yes,
on the 15th of October.
Yes, ma'am, sure will.
And thank you for your time. This was your last sheet on the alarm system, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but thank you for your report. And then we will expect another report on the 15th. And you'll say, what will we be looking for? Do you need us to verify what you want to bring back?
Well, it is my understanding that when I come back, you want me to have some movement in the alum system, or at least detailed information of where we are with that situation.
Yes, most definitely. And
Yes, ma'am.
also the movement on the badges for the
Yes, ma'am.
students in our
Certainly.
district for safety purposes.
Certainly.
And also be able to tell us about the random searches you will be doing when
Nice.
students come in. You know, you mentioned that to us last year and we bought all of that material.
Yes, ma'am.
And so some of them random should be coming up for us now, because you did explain that now that the campus supervisors, they're now helping with the COVID-19 testing and things. But what I'm saying to you is, I'm asking you to have a report for us as far as how's it going, and if you had a trial fire drill, how did it go? You know, something.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
our first priority in the North Rock District, parents are concerned about its safety.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that's why we had you come today, okay?
Yes, ma'am. We'll
Is
get
that
it taken
going
care of,
to
no problem.
include pricing? Is that going to include an approximate updated pricing?
Pricing for the alum system?
Yeah, because you said that it was going to be a little bit more.
Yes, yes. I'm trying to nail the guy down on, actually, I'm trying to get him to agree to what he quoted the first time, but you know, that
Okay.
kind of, yes.
Okay, are there other questions or concerns, board members? Well, Mr. Williams, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Great evening.
At this time, we will have an update on the 2020-21 North Rock reopened school. Dr. McGee, are you ready? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Madam President, members of the board, again, the reopening task force reconvened this past Tuesday. We were actually just trying to wait before we reconvened because we wanted to get more feedback on how things were going. As you all are aware, we're off to a very good start. Our active cases, positive cases among staff as of yesterday was 0. For students, active positive cases were like 3. We do have a number of people who are quarantined now. That is different from saying that active positive cases. Active positive cases are those people who have tested for COVID and have a positive case. So we're off to a great start. But there is a concern that I did bring up to the reopening task force that I want to present tonight, and I emailed it to you. I'm a little concerned. Our teachers and our students are both working extremely, extremely hard. I do think that we need to modify our learning option. And with that modification, that modification consists of what the task force talked about, virtual learning Fridays. So that is something I'm going to submit to the ADE for approval beginning second quarter, which is beginning approximately October the 20th. That if approval, we will go to virtual learning Fridays that way. And I kind of walk through this. Brian, do I have access to share my screen?
Yes, sir.
I need a pen.
So the reopening task force, again, virtual learning Fridays here. The goal here, you see, number 1 is to provide teachers additional support for planning, lesson collaboration, and utilize the support plan that we have in our reopening document to meet their needs. The goal for students is to provide them with additional support in completing assignments and utilizing the support plan to meet their needs. But we also want to develop and support our digital learners throughout the district. So with that entails, again, October the 20th, it has to be approved by the ADE and the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education. Also, these students, what this consists of, these students who are enrolled on site, they will now they will have the option, they will have the option to work from home in an asynchronous. And those kids who need to come to school to receive their services, they will come as normal. Students who decide to come again, students who decide to attend school, they receive their instruction services by other personnel. We have this opportunity culture that we have what they call rich associates. Some of them will be led by them, some will be led by paraprofessionals, but we will have a strategic plan by each building to address those needs. And then the workday and reporting hours for licensed and classified staff will remain the same as a regular, normal on-site day. The arrival time, everything will stay the same. The instructional delivery, it will, again, students who are enrolled on site, this will be asynchronous. That means they will be able to work on their own pace, their own time. Students enrolled in the virtual at this date, on this day on Fridays, they will move to a more asynchronous as well. The district will continue to use our Google Classroom as learning management and tracking student attendance. And then also we will continue to use the Google Classroom for completing assignments. Their additional resources are instructional resources are Waterford, Ingenuity, any type of instructional resources created for Google Classroom, Linking Learning, Apex, and Lexa Core. Student attendance is again going to be taken at the beginning of class for those students who are here or as normal. Students who work from asynchronous, they must log in and they must complete their assignments by Google Classroom to be given credit. And they will have until Monday morning at 8:30 to submit. The content, there will not be any new content. Again, we need to provide the support to all of our teachers and our students. There need to be no new content on Virtual Fridays. Students will have the opportunity to review previously assigned activities, make up assignments, but also use the digital platform. We are all concerned about those missing standards that the kids missed when we were out at the extended period. This is one of the times that they can use to close those gaps and put these kids on a learning management system that will address those missing standards. Special education, you see that the teachers will continue to report in the building, so available to be when school is in session. Teachers, parents can send their kids if they need them, send them to come. Or also the special education teacher will continue to use Google Classroom and Google Meet to provide their services. The therapists and occupational and physical therapists will also be available for school hours, and the therapists will also use Google Classroom, Google Meet to, as well as on-site appointments to provide services for those kids as outlined in their IEP. ELL, the teachers will continue to provide that English language development opportunities in Google Classroom. GT, again, we'll still also use the same LMS. Our dyslexia, we'll have trained dyslexia interventionists here to work in each of the buildings to be ready to work with those kids as normal. There are those who choose to stay at home that day, they'll be able to use Google Classroom and Google Meet to provide those interventions for those students. And also the service, again, we continue to follow the guidelines by DESE. The support to the families, we're gonna have access to our teachers. They have access to support staff, also internet connectivity. Mr. Staggers and I continue to work with the ADE about additional hotspots. Some of you guys heard us speak of that earlier with T-Mobile. The governor just announced today the T-Mobile 10 million project, where we in line to get some of those services. So, which is those hotspots. And then of course, technology assistance with our own tier 1, which is the building support, and then tier 2, which is the district level technology support that we have. We're going to continue to feed kids breakfast and lunch as normal for on-site students. Virtual students can continue to pick up their food as normal, and students who choose to receive their instruction on Friday at home, they will be given what we call a chef-stable meal on Thursday to take home, so they'll have meals to eat on Friday. The buses will continue to run their routes on Fridays for those students who are going to come. And we're going to also, this is the time we're going to look at meeting and utilizing our community partners. Innovative Hub, I'm planning to meet with them maybe in the morning or Monday morning on what we can use them for to come in to help us from virtual field trips to tutoring face-to-face, working with just help educating our kids. So board members, that's where we are. It is my intention that we need to submit this to DESE by the morning so that they can give us approval so that we can communicate with our stakeholders and with our families. Members of our task force unanimously agreed that we need to provide that support both to both teachers and students on. Everybody's working hard and everybody's tired. We know that this is a difficult year and an uncharted year. So I think this is the right thing to do, to have a full day virtual learning Fridays for the second quarter. Any questions?
Board members, Ms. Campbell, we're just trying to get the overall support. This was what the task force recommended, that the schools be totally virtual on Fridays on the next semester, Dr. McGee?
For the next quarter, second quarter.
Okay, send it, Ms. Campbell.
Don't have anything to say.
Okay, Ms. Huggins.
So I was only able to watch part of the task force meeting the other day, but there was a concern brought up about making sure that we're still delivering Wilson with fidelity. Is that going to be done with the asynchronous lessons still?
Correct. That
Okay.
We're going to make sure that we are doing that with the fidelity piece. Yes, correct.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is the right place to bring up this, but I have some teachers who have come to me with concerns about, number one, the number of kids in their classrooms. And these are elementary aged kids, that they're 17, 18, 19 kids. She got a new kid today. And I know that was one of the things talked about in the task force, is that when these kids want to come off of virtual into in-person, that there are considerations given to kids with special needs and what have you. But it doesn't sound like, from what she said, that these are special needs kids. And she's concerned. And then another teacher I spoke to is concerned about a child that they sent to the nurse today that was coughing and not feeling well, came to school with no fever, but by lunchtime had a fever of 99.8. That's not enough to send them home. So the kid was sent back to the classroom coughing and still sick. And, you know, this is one of the concerns that I brought up. I understand it's allergy season. My whole family fights with allergy season this time every year, but it's also COVID season, and we have to take that into account. And I just think we almost need to take a no tolerance policy, that if your temperature is not normal and you're coughing, you need to go home. And I mean, this teacher was in tears about the situation.
Well, I definitely agree with that, Ms. Huggins. And again, that is something that we can reemphasize to the building principals. They have to take, even, I won't go into no details, but I took a precautionary measure just today at central office. If you're not feeling well or you are not normal, you need to work, you need to go home. And that needs to be the sense of urgency that I will reinforce to the building principals as they manage their building. With regards to the classes, listen, I want to make this point. The ADE made it clear. Remember when we went back and forth the summer and the governor told us exactly what he expected? Well, remember they mentioned a case. It's called the Lakeview case. The Lakeview case indicated that we cannot deny the kids the right to educate them.
Right.
You can't. You know,
right. And I completely get that. It's just, I don't know.
Let me see if I can finish real quick. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But we understand that there are going to be some situations that it may be 17 in the class. We're going to do our best to social and physical distance those kids. We can't guarantee that, but we're going to do our best. And that's what we've been re-emphasizing. Even the task force been re-emphasizing as much as possible to do our best to social and physical distance the kids. Now, the directors have created a plan, a process for kids who are virtual, who wants to return back on site, because legally we cannot deny that would put the district in jeopardy.
Right.
So the process is that they will go on a waiting list and schools will kind of work them in so that we can try to keep them social and physical distance or balance the classes so that we won't have too many kids in one class. Do that make sense? And it's been working so far, so well so far. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms. Huggins, I'm sorry.
Okay, that was very good. Ms. Huggins, I'm sorry, did he answer your question?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring forward those teacher concerns because, they're just as scared as the rest of us are about it. And, we've put them in a situation that we had to put them into because we had to do what we had to do. And I don't know what the answer is.
Well, let me say this again, on behalf of the district, the administration, the safety of all of these staff and students continue to be my #1 top priority. That's why I think that we need to do this virtual Friday. I've ordered and I directed Michael Stone to get additional guns to be able to give to each, add one gun to each of the buildings in addition to our Clorox machine, trying to make sure that I'm pushing in to get the solution here so that we can continue to use this time to disinfect all of these schools. We got to do the passing of the acting superintendent has really been alarm to the whole state, to the whole nation. So what we got to do is we got to take our plan up a notch in terms of the cleanliness of the building, in terms of how we make sure that we can social and physical distance, taking temperatures. We've ordered a new body scanners for additional ones. I just had them other ones placed. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that everybody is safe and secure. And we want to do our best to make sure that we can social and physical distance inside of those classrooms. I want to say this, and I want to, first of all, say it publicly. I want to thank our building principals and counselors and all of their staff. They have worked extremely hard. If you go into those buildings, it is truly, they have done an outstanding job. It is social and physical distancing majority of the time. We're not perfect, but most of the time it is really, really well. And I know because I think I get to every building at least twice a week.
Okay. Ms. Huggins, did he completely answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I really feel like we're definitely doing a better job than our neighbors across the river.
Oh, okay. Dr. Redis.
I just have 3 clarity points that I'm sure, I know you said it, but I just need it verbalized again. Sure I understand. When it comes to the teachers on Fridays, they're still going to and do their virtual schedules as they are currently doing now.
Say that
Correct?
one more time. I missed that question.
The teachers, they're gonna report and do their virtual teaching just like they're doing now.
No, the teachers will have this time on Fridays to plan for lessons, collaboration, and to just take advantage of the support plan. The instruction on site will be led by other support staff, paraprofessionals, rich associates, other staff. It'll be led. In fact, I'm currently reviewing every building's plan now. And then those kids who choose not to come, they will work on an asynchronous. They will work on their own time, their own pace, but they must get the lessons done.
Okay. So that kind of answers the question, because I was going to ask, so when you come on Friday, if you choose to come on Friday, then there would be someone there, but it's not necessarily your regular teacher.
That's correct. That is correct.
Okay. And lastly, can you come one Friday and not come the next? Do you have to regularly choose to come?
It's their choice. It is their choice.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Are you up?
Ms. Temple? Ms. Temple?
Okay, so I'm still a little bit confused. Who's going to be teaching the virtual classes on Friday?
It's going to be an asynchronous. Asynchronous meaning that they'll work on their own. Teachers will plan those lessons. Students can work at their own pace. They can complete their assignments. It's going to be led by the learning management system.
Okay, so basically they won't be necessarily taught on Fridays, but there'll be assignments on Fridays for the kids to complete.
Correct.
That's basically what the Fridays will be for kids.
That's correct. And that's why we're going to use some of the resources that the ADE has, such as Lincoln Learning, that is used to address those kids with missing standards that have lessons and videos already to address those kids, their missing standards that they missed from the extended year. And teachers may say that we want to give you, I want you to review what we've already covered so that you can master that.
Okay, so if I'm understanding you correctly, the assignments won't be general to everybody in this third grade class. It will be tailored to the individual kids in the third grade class.
It can be. It will
Needs
be.
more reading. This one needs more math. Is that
It
what you're
can
saying?
be. Yes, it can be. That is exactly what I'm saying. It can be.
Will it be?
Yeah. That's the way that the teachers can do. The teachers, it can be like that if the teacher choose, or the teacher may. That would be the teacher's autonomy to work that out. That we just gonna give them this time to allow them to be able to teach like that. Correct.
Ms. Temple,
Okay.
what? Did he answer your question, Ms. Temple?
I guess I'm sitting here, I'm feeling like if I'm a student, I don't want a bunch of busy work on Friday. Just, I mean, I want to be accomplishing something.
That's why we are not going to allow them to just give busy work. It has to be something that is reasonable or also effective, such as they can use the learning management system to address those missing standards. They can be able to reinforce what they've already taught to make sure that they have mastered, or they can even make sure to allow some of the kids, and some of our kids too are also stressed as well. This is a lot for them. They need some additional time to even get caught up with their work so that they can stay abreast as well.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Walkham?
So no new work on Fridays.
No new assignments, correct.
Okay. And you are sending out surveys to the teachers and
No.
you're getting what they need or want and their responses?
No, I'm working through the building principals. We've contacted the building principals. We asked them to get with their teachers. Teachers serve on the reinforcement task force committee, who also voiced their concern as well. So we sent that plan to them. Actually, before I even submitted to the reopening task force, I visited with the principals about it. And because every principal indicated, yes, they are really, really exhausted, teachers. And not just teachers, but students. They're overwhelmed.
Yeah, everyone's stressed.
Everyone's stressed. And in fact, I will tell you, I have spoken with several, maybe about 10 to 15 teachers myself, from elementary to secondary.
Okay, so what about my counselors? Because my counselors are stressed. My counselors are dealing with some social issues that children are coming about with. So with that being said, are we making sure that our counselors are sitting at the table, talking to their building administrators and voicing their concerns and what our needs may be that someone may not have asked them before?
Yes, we are. In fact, I would tell you for secondary specifically, I met with secondary 3 of the secondary schools here at central office. The other one just didn't come, and with their counselors to address their concern. We want them to take advantage of this time as well. Everyone, all of our staff and our students at this, they are very, very stressed. And to be honest with you, I'm stressed, but it's just a different year. And they need that. And I want to applaud Secretary Key and the governor from the press conference just this week. They mentioned that. They are aware of this. This is an issue that we've been speaking about and talking about this for quite some time. If we can't take care of our teachers, we're not going to take care of our students. Bottom line, we got to take care of our teachers. They need this time. And I think this is the right thing to do. They need a full day where they don't have to worry about meeting with their students, that they can plan lessons, they can get caught up. If they want to collaborate, we're not going to force them to speak, work in their professional learning communities. If they want to do that, they can. If they want to go and take advantage of the support, the plan that we have listed, the counselors that we have available, psychologists that they want to talk about what they need to cope with, this is their time that I want them to have for 9 Fridays in the second quarter.
Okay, so you said second quarter, so that would be October 16th, 17th, 18th?
October 20th. It will begin
20th.
October 20th. So that first quarter, that first Friday of that week, I don't have the date in front of me. That's going to be October the
19th is the new
No,
semester. isn't it?
it would be October the 23rd would be the first Friday because the second quarter begins October the 20th.
Okay, and then for how long? Would we keep it until just
we
second
will-
quarter and then reevaluate?
We're kind of basically, yes, that's what we want to do is reevaluate it at the end or the middle of second quarter, the middle of November to see where we are.
Okay, so I'm gonna make this full circle. So on those Fridays also, what about that Clorox 360 system? And
I
we want
agree.
to deep clean while we also have this opportunity. We're coming into flu season. You see me in my scrubs.
That's
I mean,
why.
come on now.
That's why I ordered some new static guns and and I'm working with Kim Martin to make sure they get the solution here so that we can be doing deep cleaning. Custodians can do deep cleaning that day. We can bring in the night custodians early so we can have enough staff on Fridays to get a true deep cleaning through all of our buildings. So that's why I just put that, I directed Mr. Stone to work and he gave me an update yesterday, I think, and he wasn't here today, but we should have additional equipment to be able to deep clean at this time.
So again, because I'm on the topic, what about them kids? It's October 1st. Where are my kids at? You know, there's 100 we could find.
Let me say this. Thank you for that, Ms. Walker. Normally I would do celebration. I forgot. I apologize. Listen, I'm so proud of the staff. And I want to publicly thank all of our buildings. We're only missing 16 kids. 16. So now we still lost some kids who transferred. So I think the count was 70. In fact, earlier on this, I think we're at 79, almost 8,000 kids that we're counted for this year. Now that is a lot better than 76. So that is a lot better than 76. So
Dr. McGee.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
how would that be corrected from Monday? Because folk were calling and say you all done lost 1.5 million, but I said it's really not true. Now, how would that be corrected before next year so we can still get that money?
Let me explain it.
You all were going to correct it that Thursday when we had the board meeting because you were talking about numbers and Mr. Brown was still hollering 7,000. You saying, no, we doing great. So make us feel good and tell us about the actual numbers, please, that you turned in to the state.
Hold on, I can tell you, let me give you the actual numbers that we are right now, Madam President. I know we're getting late, so let me get this to you so everybody will know. Right now, I'm gonna pull it up. This is the numbers that Kathy just sent us to earlier today. Give me 1 second. Are there any other additional questions regarding the presentation?
Yes, Ms. Temple has one.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Temple.
Okay, well, you were talking about the kids getting to catch up too, but if they're getting more assignments, how's that gonna work?
That's why it's no new content. There will be no new content. They can only address maybe those. Remember, we was out for extended period. There was some missing standards that they didn't get last year. They can address that with a learning management system, such as Edgenuity, Lincoln Learning, Buzz Learning, Apex. But regarding this year, we will not introduce any new assignments. They can use this time for review. They can allow kids to make up some assignments that they need to make up because we want to provide that support to our kids. So,
okay. So then I guess I'm thinking what you're saying is maybe part of the day they would be catching up on areas they were behind, but then part of the day would be free so they could catch up on other areas.
It could be. We just give it.
It's going to be teacher by teacher.
Yes, correct. We're giving them their autonomy. Yes.
Okay. And then the other thing, when you're saying on Fridays you'd be using that Clorox 360, you can't do that with people in the building. You can clean, but sterilizing would have to happen when the building was.
But see, that allow us to be able, we may not use all of the classroom. There may be some classroom that may be empty because several kids may not come. So this will give the custodians, they can disinfect and clean those rooms that they're not in and those areas that they're not in. They'll have more time to be able to get a true disinfect and clean the buildings.
But where would the teachers be?
I mean, it's just, they'll just have, again, teachers who have that flexibility. They have that flexibility to be, whether they work from a workstation or they work with a collaborator. We just kind of work that out. They'll have their time, their flexibility time.
I'm just trying to guys, like Cindy was saying, you know, if they're gonna spray a, you know, if you have a teacher and all of their all of he or she students are at home, then that teacher will still be there, or are they gonna go someplace else so that you can go ahead and disinfect that room?
Well, what we'll do, we'll give the, again, we'll charge each of the buildings to kind of work that out, Miss Dr. Redis.
Gotcha.
So those are great questions. Let me give you guys the numbers. Remember, we reported it was 7,612 kids, 7,968 kids. So yes, yeah. Thank you, Miss Temple. So
how many we got now?
7,968 kids. Now we lost 62 kids that actually transferred from our district, but we also picked up a lot of kids too. So we're right there, close to where we are. We're slightly down, but that's okay. So we're good. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's but now I was asking, you didn't answer my question, Dr. McGee, because you was excited about the numbers, and so am I. I said, now will these numbers go into the state, because these are numbers that will be counted for next year?
Yes,
how
correct.
we get our monies.
Yeah, let me make sure. That's what I was going to explain. Okay, so what Mr. Brown was explaining, we get our state funding by the third quarter ADM. So obviously we got time because third quarter is not here yet. Okay. But we get some of our federal program based off of our October 1 account. So our October 1 count is really what we're trying to beat, because we need to get all of our some of our monies for the federal program. So we still have time to continue to get our funding for our state, which is the third quarter ADM. Okay. So with 7,968, and we can continue to recruit and get all of our kids back up to close to the 8,000 or over 8,000 where we were from last year, then we wouldn't be in the get any type of decline in enrollment money. Okay. Makes sense? So we got to the end of third quarter, Ms. Williams. That's what we got. Then. So the directives the directives that I've given, and we're not going to stop looking for our kids. We're going to continue to get all of our kids. So we got them up, but we still got to keep getting our kids.
Okay.
But congratulations. Thank you. Wonderful.
Great news. Thank you.
All right. At this time, board members, there is nothing else. I want to make sure on the agenda, we will again meet. If there's nothing else on the agenda, and I would like to have a motion that the meeting adjourned. First, thank you, board members.
No, there is something else. On the Arkansas School Board Association, we have to, because that's our 1 hour credit hour.
Board members, the Arkansas School Board Association is hosting the Region 8 regional meeting October 18th, 2020, because the Arkansas legislature is set to meet beginning in January. This regional meeting will focus on the items of issues that are likely to arise during this session. So you will read the last paragraph there, and you can find out when you can Zoom and it's not conflicting with anything that you have to do. And so if it is a part, and if was this a pay, Miss, was this where they had to register pay? Was this a fee on this particular one? It's a fee. So therefore, what I'm asking you to do, if you're going to get on Zoom and do it, contact Ms. Colquitt again, and if she's already sent it out, but respond to her that you want to attend the meeting, the regional conference, okay? If there's nothing further, Ms. Temple, Ms. Huggins, Ms. Campbell, Ms. Walkham, would someone please adjourn us?
Okay, you were supposed to come up with some topics. Right here.
Madam President, I move we adjourn the meeting.
We still didn't do that.
Second, no vote necessary. It's a workshop.
I can't read.
Hey, if you're still there, please go to your second paragraph and read it thoroughly. On your main sheet, please read it.
Right here.
And I'm gonna give you highlights that I really need you to think. You will be asked to, here it is, Ms. Coquick had to catch me on this one. She said, you will be asked to generate topics of concern and interest for the upcoming legislative session. So whatever you think that will affect us in this pandemic, you need to address those, think about addressing those concerns, okay?
We need to
There's
give
nothing-
those to Ms. Coquick because she also has to let them know who all was present to get the hour credit for tonight.
Right. Tonight?
Yeah, to get the hour credit for tonight. It's a 3-hour credit course. 1
Right.
hour was for tonight. And then we get the other 2 when we go on the 19th.
Right.
Part of the 1 hour credit was to turn in a list of who's present to get the hour credit and what we want to, any ideas or suggestions that we have for legislation.
Okay. She got that. She underlined that part for me. Okay. Are there other questions? Thank you, Dr. McGee. Thank you, Mr. Williams. And thank you, Ms. Lively, that you're no longer here. And thank you, board members, for coming on this special board meeting night. We learned a lot, and we will continue to learn a lot. Now, Dr. McGee, since the board basically consented to that, was that all we had to do about that?
Yeah, that's all you have to do, Madam President.
Okay.
I mean, the reopening task force, I'm gonna submit it to ADE.
Okay.
Once they approve of it, then we're good to go to get started.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else further ado, any questions? Any questions? Mr. Staggers, you can cut us off live, please, recording. We adjourn.